Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back to another video. I am really excited today, and I'm going to tell you why. Because if I'm not mistaken, which I'm about 99% correct, this is actually my first vehicle from this brand. And I'm quite excited because this is a brand that should have exposed vehicles a while ago, and for one reason or another, I didn't have much of them. And now I do, and I'm excited to show it to you guys. Let's get to the point. Let's get to the details. What we got for you right now, it's a 143 scale Lotus Europa Special. Now, Lotus, what a nice looking brand. What a really cute brand. That it's not the most famous brand from the UK, but it was a brand that really marked its territory when it came to sports cars. With other brands from like Gents competing with like other sports brand like Aston Martin, which even though they're not really in the same category, they're still sports cars or Jensen. But Lotus really, it was quite a brand. And I'm really excited. My first Lotus is nothing less than the Lotus Europa. This is the very first generation of the Lotus Europa. Really cute little two-door car, two-seater. So you know. So let me give you a little detail about this car. So you get, if you're not familiar with it, maybe you never seen one, because for one reason or another, maybe it was never sold in your country, maybe you've never seen it before, not even in videos or as a picture. I seen them only once or twice in a museum, and I think I saw once in a car show, but it's not a car that you get to see every day. Obviously, they're very rare. I don't think they sold that many. But let me give you a little information about this little cute car. Now, this car came out in the mid '60s, which I'll get to the details about the eight. By the way, just let me get to the point of when this car came out. This car came out in 1966, all the way down to 1975. So now, since I mentioned the years, this is the car from the mid '60s, a mid-engine vehicle was configuration was well established and optimal design for Grand Prix cars. It looks very racy. It's a car that, if I wouldn't know much about it, I would have said this was probably a concept. I don't think this car was ever sold in the, as a mass production. Well, it was. Now, there was no vehicles, road vehicles that had this arrangement before, mid-engine and this type of configuration. And Lotus planned Europa to be a volume produced two-seater mid-engine sports coupe built to built reasonable cost. So it was not the most expensive car. They didn't want it to be the most expensive car. As I was looking at the production numbers, this car sold altogether since the day they came out 9,230 cars. Remember again, it's not a Ford Escort. You're not going to see 300,000 vehicles of these because, first of all, these were not the type of car to be produced like in that type of form. These were sports cars for a very small, selective clientele. Not everyone wanted to have these. Probably they were a little more expensive than the regular car, even though, from what I read, Lotus wasn't trying to make it super expensive. I guess they wanted it, some people can afford it, more, maybe more than just the rich people. Engine wise, I can see the engines were not the biggest. Obviously, they had a 1.5, a 1.6 made by Renault, and the 1.5 also was made by Renault. And then you had a 1.6 Lotus forward slash Ford. I guess they both made it together. So 1.4, no, I'm sorry, 1.5, and two different 1.6. The second one, the one made by Lotus and Ford, was a double overhead DOHL. DOHL, yes. Four cylinder. All of these were four cylinders, so not so bad after all. Transmission wise, so I won't forget. Transmission wise, you had a 4 speed and a 5 speed. No automatics. Again, European small car, sports car. It will be very rare back in the 60s, especially. Quite rare to see them as automatics. But I gotta tell you, the car is cute. This is a diecast, but before I forget, and it's made by Kyosho. Kyosho did this very attractive diecast car. All right, guys, I'm gonna let it go around a few times, and I'll be right back. All right, guys. So, what do you guys think about this car? Isn't it like the part of the what I would say is probably on my top 10 of the strangest cars that came out in 1960s. It's just the weird shape of it, but it's not a bad shape. It's just a weird shape. But weird doesn't mean it's bad. It's just strange. The cut off at it kind of reminds me of a small pickup. Obviously, there's no bed in the back. It's just a cut off, like the straight line cut off right after the front seats. It kind of gives you that type of pickup style, but it's not a pickup. It's a mid-engine sports car. Those wheels were really wanted. I would love to have those wheels in any car. So attractive. Back in the days, they really made these cars with so much passion and so much dedication that they were a pleasure to look at on the road. Obviously, nowadays there's so many of the same type of looking sedans or SUVs, and there's so many brands. So all these brands start to look alike, one from another. Maybe a little difference here and there, but at the end of the day, they all look similar. These cars back in the 60s and 50s, and even 70s, they really put passion into making these models. Maybe they were not the most reliable, maybe were not the safest, but they really were attracted to look at. And you always, when you see them passing by, you must just say, "Oh, I wish I had one." All right, guys. Don't forget to give me that beautiful thumbs up. I truly, really appreciate it. It shows me that you're interested in these videos as much as I'm interested in making them. Don't forget to click and subscribe. And once you subscribe, don't forget to click the bell, and it will remind you when I'm posting more videos. And comment below. Have you ever seen one of these? Have you ever drove one of these? Were they sold in your country? Where you guys are from and all that. Take care of yourselves more than ever, and goodbye.